she also, among other things, was taught at Yale Divinity School. She was an expert in the Puritans, and Michelle, and I were also mutual friends with the late great Joe Pulver and his wife, Kathleen Pulver. And so, for some reason or another, and this is why Jordan is an elusive figure. There there is there are no Amazon listings for Jordan Gallagher, but one, and that is the anthology that I published as Nocturnicorn Books, which is called Anthem, a literary tribute to Leonard Cohen, which he was the co-editor of with Celine McLeod. So in an effort to kind of retrieve the legacy of our dear friend who didn't have a lot of stuff out there and was a major poet, but her extant poetry is in boxes. It's in storage. It's sort of like the the lost ark or the treasure of the Sierra Madre. And Michelle has been on a sort of a mission, to find the the treasure, essentially. So we started talking when was it when we started talking about like maybe resurrecting Jordan? It sounds a little ghoulish, but when was that, Michelle?
I think it was about 2 weeks ago, or 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay, because I had actually, as because I was just double checking on my Facebook, which is sort of like my my memory banks. I was just double checking when I started writing and posting my Jordan poems, and I found one of the earliest ones was for May 2nd. So I don't want to hog the spot. So I'm just going to read this, and it contains lines that it's I quote Jordan, and this is called the Dark and Deliver for Jordan. One, she holds a tiny skeleton crumpled in her palm. It smells and tastes of cinnamon, myrrh, coffee, and tears. Cannabis mirrors clasp hands, defiantly seeking the hull of the drunken boat. Like an embryo, a ghost, the rocket-propelled grenade of cinema's eyelid. It moves within the air, cupping space-time and giving it a tiny twist. A pipe smokes itself in a serial profusion of wet screams. Sharp oceans feed on it. Mountains depend from its lips. The gas heart hosts the dizzy ballet of flesh. Shadows breathe shallowly. Lungs work their retrograde magic. Bodies are embalmed in plastic. Didn't you hear her ghost decocted from one canopic jar to the canvas of the stars? Come enjoy the canvas of the stars. See the filter of denial screen dark imagery, language, tabooed perception. To William Blake signals down from eternity. Skydivers of red and blue neon shrug immensity on their backs. Turtles with shells embedded with Aleister Crowley crawl through gravity tunnels. If I'm lying, I'm dying. To die to sleep. 3. Masks of pain form the face, eyes dipped in silver ink. They fed on gore rainbows. 4. What are you doing now? What are you doing now? What are you doing now? I'm coming over. 5. I'm famished. Have you eaten? I'm holding my meat cage in. I'm holding the giggle of gravity and the stalk of the flower of ages. 6. The battle of stallions and shafts of light collapses time in movie magic moments. 7. What are you doing now? What are you doing now? What are you doing right now? 8. I messed this up. Okay, I didn't mess it up. Okay. 8. We won't be traveling this road together. We'll lose our license, be canceled. The Nielsen's will not like us. Our listeners will despise us even more. And I'm going to do something that Pixie told me not to do. I'm going to explain this very, very obscure reference. I was, about a month ago, I was approached by the program director for the radio station KPFK in Los Angeles. And I was asked if I would be a guest host for the their what's called their the Poets Cafe by a woman named Marlena Bond. And we had an hour-long conversation over the phone. She was really eager for me to develop content for KPFK. It's the flagship station of Pacifica Radio. Been around since 1947. And I was all excited because this was a great opportunity for me. Well, what happened was that Marlena started stalking my Facebook page, and she started messaging me and saying that I was posting dark things, that I was posting negative things, and I was posting language. Within about an hour or so of that message, she canceled my upcoming interview that I was supposed to be doing with a major poet. And I consider that corporate censorship. So this stanza is for that's for Marlena Bond of KPFK. Okay, 9. What are you doing now? She asked from the window. It's me, Kathy. I've come home. 10. We won't be making this bitter journey, because Marlena said that we won't be making this, we won't be going down this road together. We won't be making this bitter journey. You alone will drink the dregs. It's me, Kathy. What will you allow? What? That's my poem. Oh, I know. I mean, but that was such an obscure reference. Literally nobody would know that. Yeah. Mhm. What the hell?
Oh,
Oh my God.
no worries. No worries at all.
Okay, that's okay. So people will have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm rambling on about prog rock. That'll be elusive
excellent.
for the listeners.
They thought they'd stumbled into a music podcast.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. This is a poem that I wrote with Alex Johnson for our friend Jordan. Who passed away. I don't know if we got that information about her, but she was a very elusive poet. She always would message me though on Messenger. So this is kind of about a new kind of communication with her. And it's called Bubblehead for Jordan Gallagher. Our sound trills, streaks across delighted brain. Invitation to laughter, invocation for Jordan. Alive again with glittering hilarity shared across tablet screen and phone. She called this communication Bubblehead. Eyes closed and conjuring, I tug on forbidden metal. Morgue drawer unrolls. Stop, is this Rand? Will we bubble into the night? The dead don't mind. Or we wait. But another bubble release. Alex, is that you? Alex cups his ear to the void and bids Jordan return. Here is anything, laughter like the jewel point glance of the sun on a rippling brook. Harder, more jagged, new raspy sounds. A cough alerts him to the possible presence of obscure Victorian diseases. A key hangs in the air, pointing the way to a mystery library where volumes of unpublished poetry by Shelley, or should we say Sherry, Jordan's actual name, awake eager literary detectives like something straight out of A.S. Byatt. Wind of the wings of lovers passing over our heads like Charles Baudelaire, waving in his lonely poverty and rags in Bruges during his final sad, demented days. Suddenly, like we're sailors on a drunken boat about to capsize into the Mediterranean. An albatross lands on the deck. The sailors whack his beak with their pipes, and the goddess finally arrives, straddling in like Columbia professor Susan Sontag, always a little late, trailing the sickly sweet perfume of opium. Circadian sister, join us. Our shambling goddess falls. Shaking off the dust of old corporeal shell, Jordan revels in this afterlife without pain. No barriers, no need of technology, extra storage space, or cell phones as big as toasters, Jewish sweet acolytes. She speaks straight to eager neurons in our auditory cortex. Jordan is a messenger. Dear ones, remember that sullen, inky pit? Skulls arranged like sacred hearts, source of my delight. Here I am beyond bone that once I loved so well. Far beyond my cursed, mottled self. Scars blistered, peeled away. No morsel left now for the piteous plague rat. Never again to flail at words. We forged this loop in cyclic rhythm. Crackling bubble, iridescent, together meld in its hereafter, speaking in this fresh heard language. That's it. writing is mostly still on my computer and in my journals. So I don't have anything that I've gotten out there recently, but I'm working on things, and I'm working on this project about my friend Jordan, and looking for her lost poems, and just the process of that, and processing grief also. So that's what I'm working on right now. Thank you.
So I'm going to read the poem I read once. Yeah. Yes, yes. We need not speak of that. But let me, since I'm now after the two of you, Alex and Michelle, I very much enjoyed your pieces. So and Angela, yours too. I think I got to say that earlier. I'm in the current Space and Time magazine, if that wasn't heard before. And I have a collection of short stories and poems out called Thick as a Brick. It's available on Amazon and Godless. And this poem comes from that collection. It is a villanelle. I've been into those lately. And this is called I Accidentally Erased Your Message. I accidentally erased your message. That sound of your voice, rhythm of your text, all gone from the record with no vestige. Our relationship had no other moorage, adrift without backup, without context. I accidentally erased your message. But also gone is waterlogged baggage, now left without ruts, not anchored, not vexed, all gone from the record with no vestige. We ought to dry our tears and acknowledge the past is past and the future comes next. I inadvertently lost your message. If we let slips of the finger ravage, then love no more has reason or pretext, all gone from the record with no vestige. Leaving me to free memory storage that our brief time together had annexed, I accidentally erased your message, all gone from the record with no vestige. Thank you. Again. I, there was an erasure recently that made me recall that I had myself had accidentally erased some messages from my phone when I was trying to clean up, because the old phones didn't have as much memory as they use as some of our doodads do these days. Yes, thank you. You can find me in Demons and Death Drops, recently out from Little Ghosts. I was in Unspeakable Horrors 3 last year. I'm in some other things, and I'm traveling, so I'm like a blank slate to myself, let alone the rest of you. True. Sure. Cool. I enjoyed that again, Angela, by the way. But I just wanted to mention I've been reading just by happenstance a bunch of Robert Burns lately, and I don't know, it rhythmically reminded me of that. Um, okay. This poem is also from the same collection. It is not a villanelle. Um, in the booth by the jukebox. She said she liked David Bowie, especially this one particular song. I didn't see the connection because I hadn't traveled her road. We shared a picture of Brain Stompers. She punched up Drive-In Saturday on the jukebox. That night, she told me about the fair. She said the 4-H barn was like the song. Dense as I was, I sang along with her about the training ground for rapers. She spat the misheard lyrics with venom. Filling our glasses with the last of the booze, she found me wanting to help, to protect, to fix. She slid $5 and 4 quarters on the table. She wanted another round. She wanted the song to stop. That's it. Yeah. Um, Old memories of uh, old friends who went through some bad stuff and shared it when I was young and finding out just how bad it had been for other people. Yes. You know the of Mice and Men, the title, the John Steinbeck. That title's taken from Robert Burns. Hmm. Cool. Sure.
If you wish, yeah. Okay, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. We're not throwing you under the bus. You're throwing yourself under the bus, which is kind of awesome in a weird way. Oh, okay. Well, that's very gracious of you. And yeah, the line actually, I went to a private. My parents, forced me to go to like a private academy when I was like, a little kid, and at the time, I was deeply resentful that we had to study like Latin and shit, and we had to memorize poets like Shelley and Robert Burns, So, the line is, I forget what he wrote in a sort of archaic dialect of Scots, and so the line is, I forget what the Scots dialect is, but it's the best laid plans of mice and men gang after glee, which means often go awry. So that's where that comes from.
Yep.
And
And it's Gaelic.
it's Gaelic. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. Yes, thank you for, whew, boy. Yeah, I put my foot in it. But wow, yeah. There was a whole thing that there was this comedian, I'm blanking on her name. She's on YouTube. She's a hilarious British comedian who does all of these kind of riffs on like literature and stuff, and I'm blanking on her name, but she has a whole series about like Robert Burns and stuff. And I'll probably put that in the comments later, but she's absolutely hilarious. So the piece I wanted to read was I'm doing a series of collaborations with Juliet Cook for a possible mini chapbook. We don't know. It started out was just sort of like feeling each other out as far as, do you want to do some, maybe try out some collaborative poems? And about a month ago, we started doing this. And because I've always admired Juliet's work, and I was published in like 13 Minor Birds, a decade ago. And so, you know, I sort of start. I was away from social media because of my brain injury for like 5 years. And I came back. I reconnected again with people like Marie Lecrivan, who you should have on the show, and Juliet Cook. And Juliet Cook is very, very extremely dark, but hilarious too. and it really gels with my own aesthetic of like sometimes outrageous, pop culture, bizarro, trash culture, horror movie references, a lot of stuff about, like black metal, for example, because I'm into black metal, Norwegian black metal. And and so we started doing these collaborations, and one of the first poems we did together, which is actually in my poetry book, which is an ebook called "The Flowers of Doom." That's a line from the song "Figurative Theater" by the band Christian Death. So their lead singer Roz Williams like hung himself on April Fools. It's not funny, but in 1998, and so it's like it was sort of a very black humor joke. And so anyway, this is called Black Metal Sin Booths. Black Metal Sin Booths by Juliet Cook and Alex S. Johnson. Tiny crumble cars track the transmission from a rusted out crucifixion. Black metal cops with spiky hats sew designer death labels, retro engineered to fit the rhizome internets. Pink bees, not lips, cover the rotten fruit. Tongue with screaming stingers, flexed persecution. Internal burial ground inside which, sorry, excuse me. Internal burial ground inside which coffins are replaced with booby traps. Boobs are used for eyeballs. The Mammo cornhole reel FBI spies with my little fruit fly. Telescopes of mutation spearing the black meat on the ultimate fork. You. Ice, maybe. Ashes to assholes. The whole shithouse goes up in name and shame, cooked in the bodysuit of a Mac the Knife waif. Wafers tainted with poltergeist portals enunciate true or false plays, aiming towards the next target. Sin booths can join forces to form the leading role. That's it. That's my poem. That's my and Juliet Cook's poem. Thank you. We totally do. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, this one is set in the Isle of Man. It's probably one of my oldest poems, and it's called A Spell. So curtain of gray vein fell between them, fell within the walls of kings, and on his back and in her eyes. Waiting, soon she fell to wishing, wishes louder than the screams of vicious bright seabirds. Circling path of bird in secret, still she wondered if he heard. Still the leaves fell, full outstretched, and tamed the wind that he could hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Angela. You powered through. Oh,
No, 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 no. Ah. Beyond the Valley of GarageBand, yeah.
cool.
Grab some paper, grab a pen, open opportunities, and you can begin. When
Many
you
buttons to
exercise
you.
your
Good.
rights and get published, you may change. Write
Right.
your own path, both wonderful and strange, with opportunities. With opportunities.